If that ain't love, it'll have to do until the new thing comes along. With all the world dear at my command.
I'm sitting here listening to The Breeze, 1420 AM. That's the 1420thebreeze.com is what it is, and I'm listening. I can't listen to it every Saturday night, but they do archive 4 or 5 shows on there, so I'm listening to one of the shows that I missed. And you know, this has been brought up on several occasions by Old Radio Al, because he listens to them also. This is really great stuff. You know, you can program it if you have an AM transmitter. You can feed this into your transmitter and make it come out your old radios. This is a really good website. Not only does he play old time music, but he also puts on an old time radio show. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that. So I'm sitting here listening to that, and once you click on the archived deal here, what you get is this little thing right here. Then you just click start and it plays right on through, and you can save it. You can save it from the archive site, and over here it just says, let me see, this one here, let me see, you come down here and it says audio archives right there. You click on that right there. Once you get to the home page, click on audio archives, and you have a top section, potpourri with Doug Kleinhans, and then down below, these are 4 archives shows by Greg Van Beek. So good stuff all the way around. I really enjoy listening to it. I really do. Let me see here. There we go. I think we can bring up our volume now.
I saw the stars down from the sky for you. If that ain't love, it'll have to do until the rain from the morning.
Man alive, I can't believe it's part 30 already. It just blew by, really, for me. Anyway, here we are, and we're going to take care of a few more details. You know, it's the final details that seem to take up most of the time. We're back to that grid cap wire underneath that I put on the terminal board here and ran up through the chassis in our last video. And you know, that there, it's kind of a, I don't know, it feels pretty strong, but I'm just not 100% sold on the stability of it. So what I'm going to do is take a little wire tie and put it underneath that terminal board and bring it up around that black cable and cinch it tight. I want to have lots of strength there. Alright, that makes me feel better. It comes right on around the black part of that cable and wraps her all the way around down through to the bottom of the terminal strip. So let's go ahead and cut that off. And that's it. She's nice and tight now. She's not going to go anywhere. Nowhere. Nowhere at all. Down here I can flex it all I want and it won't move. Alright, let's go to the top of the chassis now. You'll remember that this wire right here is the grid cap wire for the 2A7. This is from the last video I told you about, and it's very weak. It just kind of, you got to be careful with it. I've determined that the way to fix it is to put I took a terminal strip and cut one end of it off and mounted it right here. Now what I'm going to do is mount this over here to the back of the, I'll bring it in from the rear, and then I'll hook this coax cable, you know, a little in the interest of uniformity. I've got a coax cable here for a grid cap and one here for a grid cap. So let's go ahead and just make another one for a grid cap, and they'll all look the same. And this one will be attached here. Again, I'll put the ground, the shield onto this thing right here, and then we'll hook the other one, the center wire, to here. So let me go ahead and get that done. It'll be kind of neat to see that all hooked up. Alright, that looks a whole lot better. Let's get her focused in there. Maybe it'll help. There we go. But as you can see, the plastic coated part of it right here, the center, is flexing. See, it's flexing. So, you know, if I don't fix that, we'll be right back in the same boat that we were before. Although it won't fix, I mean, it won't affect the coil wire. It would only affect the grid wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing we did underneath. We're going to go ahead and put a little wire tie around that thing, bring it up the other side, and cinch her down. Alright, let's go ahead and cut her now. Get that thing cut. Make it look nice and neat. Well, there we go. Now we've got a good strong wire that won't flex whenever we decide to hook it up to the grid cap. And we have 3 grid cap wires that look the same. I kind of like that. Let's go back to our parts list for this radio. If you look right here, it says pilot lamp, 2.5 volts, frosted. Frosted? Well, how about that? Now the bulb that came out of this thing is right here. This is the only good one. I had 2. One of them was no good. It is not frosted. Well, what can we do about that, if anything? Now here's something that might catch your eye. I got this online on eBay. It's called glass etching cream. Easy to use, permanent, fast acting. Armor Etch glass etching cream. Now what do you think we're going to do with that? Well, we're going to take these bulbs out of here and we're going to frost them. We are going to frost those bulbs, but rather than ruin the ones that are in there right now and by messing things up, I probably should do a little practice, you know. Let's take the old bulb and let's find out whether or not we can frost that thing using the glass etching cream. Alright, on the instructions on the back of this bottle, it says not intended to etch large areas, large solid areas. It has ammonia, sodium bifluorides. Don't inhale it, don't ingest it, don't eat it, don't get it on your skin or eyes or anything. Flush with water if you do, and seek medical attention. And on the front it says this stuff could be fatal. Holy mackerel, and cause severe burns. Well, it's an acid, obviously. Stronger than navel jelly, you can bet on that. But I'm still going to try it. Let's see what happens. I put some electrical tape around the threads on the brass base. Now, I don't know how it would have affected brass, but we're going to find out. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this brush, I'm going to dip it in there, and then I'm going to paint it on all the way around, and then wait 60 seconds. 60 seconds, isn't it? That's really amazing. 60 seconds, and then we're going to wipe it off and see what happens. Alright, we have about 5 seconds left, and I'm going to start wiping it off. Well, that didn't work very well. Maybe glass on a light bulb is different from a drinking glass or wine glass or something that they use to etch these things with. Well, let's try it again. I'll leave it on a little longer this time and put it on a little heavier. Alright, it's been about 6 minutes. I let her soak. I just dipped her down in the jar there and got a good coating on it and let it sit for 6 minutes. Let's see what happens now. Well, there you have it, folks. After about 6 minutes, a frosted light bulb. Works great. It's called Armor Etch. Let me get it here again. It's called Armor Etch glass etching cream. I don't know what I paid for it on eBay. I can't remember. $6, maybe $7. I don't know. It'll last me forever. That's pretty slick, I think. Well, I removed the 2 bulbs from the bulb holders, the sockets rather. And here's what I have now. A couple of nice frosted bulbs to put back in there. There's one, and there's the other. I think that's really cool. I'm glad I decided to get this stuff and give it a try. Works great. The next detail we have to attend to is to take these pipe cleaners, a couple of them out of there, and dip them in alcohol, of course. You know, I'm using 91% alcohol now. Dip them in alcohol, and then go up and down each of the tube socket pins after they've gotten, this thing's been soaked in alcohol, and clean every single pin on every single socket. It's got to be done. Now, some of you might think, well, you know, it's really overkill to go through there and clean all those, but I've just cleaned one socket. That one right there, it's only got 4 holes. That's the rectifier, the 80 tube. And look at the color at the end of that thing already. That's just 4 little holes. I've got a whole bunch of sockets and pins to go yet. Well, there they are. Look how dirty they were down in those sockets. You know, this detail work is a little bit time consuming, but in the long run, it'll save you a lot of time later on. Alright, now we know the crud be just, that's just 5 little sockets. Can you imagine if you had a radio that had, you know, 11 tubes, 10 tubes? Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tighten up the tube pins. So that means the radio is going to have to be flipped back over. So let's get that done. Over the years, these tube pins spread out. They spread apart from having tubes put in and taken out, put in, taken out. And after a while, the metal gets fairly weak, and they have a tendency to stay flared. And when you put a new tube in, or change a tube, or do what we're going to do right here, put new tubes in there, we want to make sure we're going to have good contact. Now, this particular style here is just, you know, they just squeeze together a little bit. Now, the way you do that is take duckbill pliers with no teeth. Once again, the old duckbill comes in handy. No teeth. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take, you know, one of these like so. Let me get in real close here. And we are just going to kind of give it a little squeeze. Not much, just a squoze. Just a little squoze. Just kind of squoze it together just a little bit, okay? And we're going to go to the next one. We're going to do it there. Just a little squoze. Now, this is very time consuming, so take your time. You're not going to put a gorilla smash on this thing. Just a slight squoze to get them all about the same all the way around. Be careful of your components when you do it. Just kind of easy does it. Now I'll probably spend the next 10 minutes just getting those tube pins ready. Now these particular tube socket pins right here are a little bit different. They're not the kind that, you know, they're not long like you see right here. You know, nothing like that. These are the kind you run into. Actually, you run into these a lot with the miniature tubes in the AA5 radios. I see those a lot. Now these will require a pair of needle nose, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to close them up a little bit, okay? We're going to close them up. So when I stick the tube down in there, it will grab a hold of the pin. Well, that pretty much takes care of it, you know. Just keep in mind that there are different tube pins that have to be handled a different way. Don't gorilla these things. Don't gorilla them. Just kind of gently squeeze them together a little bit. You know, when it comes to these things, you have to read and interpret what you see. Well, that's it for now. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I had planned to get the tubes in, like I said, but it just didn't work out. Too much detail work and a lot of explanation. I probably went into more explanation than I should have, but you know, at least we got the old etching thing down for the light bulbs. I think that is just so cool. Anyway, next time we will definitely get the tubes in. We're going to put a power cord on it. I ordered a power cord from Radio Days. It'll be in a couple of days. And I went downtown. I bought a white plug for this thing. That's neat. I don't know. I bought a black one and a white one. Right now the plan is to go ahead and use the white one. I just think it'll just, I don't know, it'll just give it a little more snap, even if it is a cord plug. Anyway, if it looks gaudy or real bad, I'll put the black one on. But right now it's almost in cement that we're going to go with the white one. I think it looks cool. And we're going to go ahead and put a high wattage resistor in the power line to cut down the voltage to the radio. And we're going to put a fuse holder in. So that's what's on the agenda next time. I hope to finish up this entire chassis itself in the next video. And then the one after that, we'll do the conversion from field coil or electromagnet to permanent magnet speaker. I'll show you how that's done. So the way it stands right now, we got about 2 videos left. Okay? I hope you had fun with this one. I greatly appreciate everybody being here, and I hope you learned something. I know I did. Until next time. This is John.